Let me zoom in. I'm going to have to do it this way, but that's okay. We'll make it work. So today we're going to focus on theme. We've been focusing on theme the last couple of days, but I felt like as I was grading some of how the whale got his throat, most of you, I think, are getting the idea and the concept behind the lessons learned with the characters and their actions. I think a lot of the problem I was seeing over the evening as I was grading was that we're not using the read strategy. And I've hammered that into your brain for a pretty long time now at this point, where when it's asking you for text evidence, you should be able to doing this. You are more than welcome to do so, because these are just common themes that we find in our fiction books that we read, especially in the elementary level fiction books. What I do want you guys to be aware of is, and I saw this a couple times yesterday when on the whale, how the whale got his throat, when you guys were trying to pull out the theme, some of you guys were giving me these. Some of you guys were giving me one-word themes, where you're not necessarily wrong, but what you have to know is the difference between these and the difference between these are the topics. And these are the specific themes or lessons learned that the characters are learning that we in turn as readers learn. Remember, themes need to be universal. What does that mean? We use the example of Universal Studios. What does it mean when themes need to be universal, Jalen? Apply to anybody. I like that definition. That works perfect. So, you're not going to see in any of these themes, you're not going to see names of characters. You're not going to see the setting of a specific book. You're not going to see specific details from any story whatsoever, because they're universal. Because someone across the globe can read this, love is stronger than hate, and they're going to know what that means, regardless of whatever book we're reading. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's look at this story, The Expedition. Okay. So themes, and I've got so much stuff here. Okay. I can't zoom in because I'm recording this for my kiddos at home, but you guys have a paper in front of you, so you should be okay. So theme is different from what the characters are doing and the events that take place. So a theme is a general message. Remember, it's an idea. Okay, there you go. You may not have the exact experiences described in the story, but often the themes will express an idea that you can relate to. So you may not be able to relate specifically to things that happen to Ben's life, but you may be able to relate to friends are not always trustworthy. Some of you can probably think of a time where you learn that lesson, unfortunately. Okay? So themes are definitely my train of thought has been lost. Themes are definitely things that you want to relate to. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to read through The Expedition. I want you guys to kind of follow along, and then we're going to see if we can pull out a theme for this story. Okay? Again, we're going to do it together. Nolan, you have a question? There is a root word in expedition. Oh, absolutely. Good connection. There is. What is it? X. There's also another one. Tion is more like a suffix, but pedi or ped, that's a root word as well. And what's ped mean? Good job. You guys are smart cookies. All right. Okay, so here I am going to, for those at home who are watching this, I'm going to pause this video. What I would like you guys to do is I would like you to read this on your own, and then I will come back once we've read it, okay? I have it attached. All right, so we're going to focus on, take your pencil, and we're going to focus on sentences 1 through 6 right now. So right now we're focusing on sentences 1 through 6, okay? You don't have to highlight or anything like that. I just want you guys to be focused on that, okay? Yeah. Can you wait just a minute? Okay. So here's what I want you here's what I want you to think about. What is happening overall? No, actually, just focus right here. What's happening in this part, in this passage right here, 1 through 6? What is happening? What's happening right there? Reread it. Think about it. What's happening? It's really not hard, but we're thinking about the character's actions, which is going to hopefully get us to what the lesson learned is of this story. So what's happening, Lauren? Okay, they were arguing, but even before they were arguing, what led them to arguing? What led them to arguing? Jace?
When Sally saw the piece of that building block.
Yeah, they were playing with blocks, weren't they? They were playing with blocks, they were arguing, and then what's mom do? Or mom plays a part in this first section. What does she do, Aaron? Okay. She asks them, hey, guys, I've got a favor for you. So they're playing with blocks. They're arguing a little bit. Mom asks for a favor. So what I want you to do is look at this dialogue. Do you guys know what dialogue is? So dialogue, and if you don't know, you're going to know right now. Dialogue is when you have a conversation with characters. So right here and a few other places in this text, you're going to see dialogue. You're going to see characters that are communicating back and forth with each other. Why do I not have your attention? You're going to see characters back and forth talking to each other. You're going to need to know this because when you guys do your narratives, continue with your narratives next week, you are going to be creating dialogue in your narrative. So you need to make sure you are familiar with this. So looking at that dialogue that we've kind of highlighted 1 through 6, what do you learn about Arthur and Sally's relationship? What do you learn about those two? And what important details kind of reveal this? What do we learn about them? Jace? What do you mean by love and hate?
Sometimes they can be arguing, and then the next 5 minutes later, they
So we could probably maybe make a good inference that these two, Sally and Arthur, they probably argue or quarrel or fight a lot. I mean, I'm assuming they're brother sister. Did they say big brother? Okay, so they are brother and sister. So, they're probably quarreling a lot. They're probably arguing a lot. Sally takes the block from Arthur. Arthur wants it. They bicker about it back and forth. Mom talks to them. She's not upset about it. She doesn't seem like, she doesn't scream or anything. She doesn't say like, rah, 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 rah. You know how sometimes we get fed up sometimes. She's not yelling at them. So that kind of makes me think that maybe this is not the first rodeo with these two when it comes to arguing. Yeah. So she's used to their fights. Right. She's used to their fights. All right. So I want you to focus. Yes, Viv. Okay. Okay. So you're thinking more of the overall story. What I want you to focus on right now, what I want you to hone in on right now is right here. We know the relationship between Arthur and Sally and Mom. So can you think of a message about life that this part right here expresses? Can you think of a message about life? Like, you know, you've got these two brothers, brother and sister. You've got Mom. They argue a lot. It seems to be pretty normal. Think about your own siblings if you do have siblings. You know, what could be a lesson or a theme coming from this part right here? Just this part. Nolan? Okay, so okay. So you said a possible theme that we might see occurring is what? Family, which is a topic, but that family is always there for you, obviously. Siblings can be kind of competitive. Would you guys kind of agree? You probably are competitive. So here's one of mine. I'm going to kind of help you along. When two people, siblings are competitive, most of, you know, maybe not, but in some instances, siblings are competitive. So when two people fight, when two people argue, does it affect people around you? Could that be a theme? If two people fight and argue, can it affect others around you? Yeah, it can. It can. So these ideas, you know, what Nolan said, what I just kind of gave you an idea, these ideas come from the details of how the characters act with one another. So we know, you know, that they are, you know, they sound like they're competitive. They sound like this is not their first rodeo with arguing. And so we know that when you argue, you know, sometimes that affects others around you. So I don't know how I want to write that. I'm going to just put arguing affects, and you guys can write this to the side as well, others around you. Dialogue is kind of on its own, but I probably should have put it on the other side because it was a separate thing we're talking about. So we're thinking about, you know, families always with you, arguing affects others around you. Those are two themes that we can kind of pull out from this section right here. In just this section of the story, we haven't even got to the full aspect of the story. So again, and when we do hit that tomorrow, you know, we'll probably pull out some other lessons learned as well. But we're going to kind of piece by piece go through this story. Okay. I